You know how you get those times where just be chilling, right? Like you get that random stream of consciousness where you start thinking, yo, I'm a real person. And then I don't think you dissociate, but it's kind of like, yo, this is kind of trippy. That's kind of what I'm be talking about in this video. In relation to how memory is the key to leveling up. And when I say leveling up, in practically every single direction, mental, physical, spiritual, if you want to consider that, everything. And it's something we don't really talk about too much. When you talk about memory issues and stuff like that, we only talk about like memory disorders and diseases like Alzheimer's and all of that funky stuff. But when I say memory, it's pretty much just about being more mindful than mindless. You know, you want your mind to be full, not less, which is kind of contradictory because when you're mindful, you're more like present and clear-minded. But I guess it's because you're embracing every bit of the moment in that current time. Whereas if you're mindless, you've got less control. Anyway, I'm not going to go into, I think that's called etymology, where you start analysing words. We're not doing that today. Memory. Can you remember what you even ate 2 days ago? Can you even remember what events happened last week? Things like that. And oftentimes when you don't remember, it could be a sign that we're maybe just that we're living a little bit on autopilot, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not exactly necessarily a great thing. And obviously you get a whole bunch of things when it comes to your memory being kind of blocked in a sense, in terms of like being able to recall what happened and things like that. Obviously you've got your trauma blocks. A lot of people don't seem to realize that even as a kid, even if you think you've had like good things, you can still have kind of blocks in your head with relation to your memory based on that, and just general like growing up and possibly even as an adult. So again, that's one thing that's really important to kind of clear up and kind of muster up the courage to solve and become a little bit more self-aware on that. And again, even if you don't seem to think that you've got any trauma blocks, you got to remember how you operate, because when you have more memory about yourself and you're more self-aware, what's going to happen? You're going to kind of notice different patterns that you operate on a daily basis, and things that sort of trigger you, things that don't trigger you. And then yeah, you essentially won't be repeating what you would consider a mistake over and over. Sometimes we tend to fall into the same cycles of just not really changing, right? Sometimes we're just like, oh, life is the same, and then you just live longer thinking that you're gonna change, and then you realize that nothing has changed. You probably know what I'm talking about, probably. And this is why memory is really important, because we want to kind of remember the feelings that sort of make us want to do stuff, make us want to improve. And again, it's kind of developing that self-awareness of how you operate, and as a result of that, you could possibly go into the direction of changing things for the better, and that's where you level up. So even you could relate certain maybe habits that you might have that are quite unhealthy. You could relate that to things maybe you started to develop as a kid, and again, that ties into memory, or when it first started, the bad habit. And then you start to become, again, self-aware on that stuff, start to realize, oh, this is happening because of this root issue. When I say root, it's because it's like kind of planted in your mind, like the seed of that habit is just planted in the garden of your mind. So you would kind of want to not just take out the unnecessary weeds that have grown as a result of that, but we kind of want to understand why it's there in the first place. Why would I decide to put those kind of seeds into my mind? But that's kind of delving into the philosophy side of things, so you know, we're not going to really do that today. So now you're probably asking, alright, but memory is important, now what do I do? And to be honest, it's going to be very subjective, because everyone's scenario is going to be different as to why they don't have memory. Some people might just have brain rot, you know, too much of short form content, or just, again, living mindlessly on a day-to-day basis, not really questioning things to a very limited degree. And so, yeah, you just dive into repeated behavior. So maybe it might take you journaling, maybe, writing it down in a sense where you try to find the key sort of issue that you're dealing with at the moment, and then you sort of start linking it to as much as you can remember. And then you keep that piece of paper or that journal next to you throughout the day, on your desk or wherever, and you just look at it from time to time and just write down what the issue is. So for the sake of this video, I'll probably use the example of maybe binge eating, or yeah, we'll use binge eating, and you'll write that in like a little bubble or something like that, and you can link, oh okay, binge eating, why do I do it? Okay, it makes me feel good. All right, why does it make me feel good? What is the reasons that I need to use this to feel good? And then you can start writing those down on a piece of paper or in your mind, though it'd probably be easier to keep it like a better note of remembering it on a piece of paper. And then, yeah, you just sit on it, you just think about it, you just let the answers kind of come to you, because you don't want to kind of entirely force it, because then you're going to be operating in a state of like fear, in a sense where you're really, really impatient. And that's what we want. We don't want to sort of, again, force solutions, because they might not just stick. Which I'll probably go into another video basically talking about, you know, changing habits and things like that. Also, by the way, I ain't no licensed person to talk about this stuff, so this is just, you know, me just talking to the mic. But again, if it does help, then it does help. But yeah, you basically want to kind of just think about that, like the binge eating, for example, and then, you know, obviously you don't have to have sort of childhood links to you binge eating, but it's just for the sake of an example. And then you might start realizing that, oh okay, maybe you used food to kind of hide a lot of issues in your life, and then you'll start to find out about these kind of other issues that you've been running away from, and then that's it. You start to realize, okay, my memory is coming back, but the main issue is I was running away from it all this time by numbing myself from the potential pain that it may bring alongside of it, and that's not what we want. Because it's like putting a bandage or a band-aid on like a really, really deep wound. It's not going to really stop it, is it? It's going to cause suffering in some kind of way. So yeah, let's try and change that. Let's try and start to develop ways in order to start remembering again and start appreciating things. Because again, even the whole notion of, okay, the good and bad kind of thing, they're both needed in order to create exactly the reality that you're in at the moment. You know, you're living here as a byproduct of the good and bad that's happened in your life, right? So why do you run away from the bad? Just some things to ponder over, you know? So yeah, just remember that memory is really, really key in terms of like understanding how you specifically can level up. And it also, what it would do is, because you're essentially using your own memory, not someone else's memory, which can also potentially, as I think about it, help you find your path in life if you're very confused and you feel like you're living other people's dreams. Memory can help in that sense. Well, yeah, gonna end the video there for the people that kind of just want the main chunk of the title. If you didn't know, the other part of the video, or like this part that you're currently in, is the bit where we just chill, you know, just about anything really. So yeah, again, start off with another reminder. I hope you guys have been doing well and also keeping well. Someone left a comment yesterday and they said basically that I should just cut up my audio and keep the gameplay as it is right now. So you're going to be seeing that today. So let me know what you think about it. It would be smoother because there's no like extreme cuts from me driving whilst I like take a moment to pause and think about the topic. But yeah, I think it might be a good addition because it keeps the gameplay as smooth as possible. I just did it according to the like live at the exact same time because it just kind of matches with gameplay. But yeah, other than that, if you can't hear my fan, apologize, it's really, really hot. And yeah, we're growing pretty well, man. I'm pretty shocked. I'm getting a lot of activity recently, and it's nice to see that my content, if you will, helps others. And yeah, I mean, making a difference to even just one person is really what the ultimate goal. I know I say this all the time, but I genuinely am pretty stoked about what we've got so far. Other than that, currently eating some frozen berries. They're really, really good to snack on, I'm not gonna lie. I know like people normally use it just for like smoothies and stuff like that, but sometimes a frozen berry on its own, I don't know if it's because it's like kind of the texture is nice on it or what, but it hits differently, especially when it's really hot outside. And yeah, even finding the joys and little things like that is it does make the day a lot better. You start to really appreciate things like that. So I would suggest, obviously, anything you can find in the day, just give it some appreciation. There's got to be something out there that you can appreciate, whether it's the land that you step on, or maybe if you're fortunate to have food and water on the table. There's always things to be thankful for, man. But yeah, can end the video there, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace and blessings to you all, and remember, memory is the key.